Stop believing in God. Start believing as God. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Free Neville Goddard podcast. In this special series, we are going to dive into some of my absolute favorite quotes of Neville Goddard's. And I'm going to share with you on a couple different levels why this one is probably in my top 3 absolute favorite Neville Goddard quotes. So Neville Goddard simply says, stop believing in God, a power outside of yourself. A power out there somewhere that you can't understand and can't figure out, that may or may not support you. Stop believing in God, a judgmental being that will judge you as right or wrong. Stop believing in God. Start believing as God. Stop believing in God. Start believing as God. It was decades ago now I started taking Neville's teachings in deeply. And I noticed a lot of inner conflict. I noticed some inner confusion. But the more I simply surrendered to the simple, the more I explored, the more my life changed for the better. When I was a little boy, my mom used to go to this prayer group every Wednesday. And they would sing and they would do their thing. I'd sit in the other room and do my homework, listen to them sing. Some of the singing was quite beautiful. And long story short, one of their favorite songs included the words, "And they will know we are Christians by our love." They will know we are Christians by our love. And they will know who we are Christians by our love. That would have been 50 years ago I heard that. Maybe 45. But I was a young'un. And that message stuck with me, and I let it permeate all that I do. Because Neville Goddard said your awareness of being is God. And your imagination is your Savior. Your imagination is the state of Jesus Christ. And he says that a couple different ways too. But let's just strip it down to the basics. Because if you honestly if you honestly notice that your imagination is your Savior, if you honestly notice your job is to believe as God, you can't help but be loving. You can't help but be loving because you understand the power of your imaginal act to bless or to curse. And why would you sit around and curse when you can simply bless? What I invite you to do today, there's 2 parts to this quote as far as I'm concerned. You know, your awareness of being is God. Consciousness is the only reality. I keep saying you are God having the adventure of a lifetime. You are how God has the adventure of a lifetime. And when you stop believing in an external power out there and you start believing in you, you can't help but rejoice at the good news. You have a desire to surrender to. You have a desire to give life to. Because the states are dead until you give them life. You didn't come here to solve problems. You came here to give life to lovely possibilities. If you got gold today, ManifestingMasteryCourse.com is the 90-day adventure. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes a day. We put together 90 cool 10-minute lessons. I had this really weird idea where if you came here on a 90-day visitor visa and you stayed in the cottage out back and the only time I saw you was for 1 cup of coffee a day, what would I share with you for 90 days? Because that's how long a visitor visa lasts. I'll design Manifesting Mastery course like that. 1 cup of coffee a day. It's $97, 90-day program. You do the math. That's about the price of a cheapo cup of coffee. And it can totally transform your life. The question is, what's it costing you not to explore in a very simple, optimized way like that with us? Most members, they send us an update every 7 days. Why? Because we ask you to. Why? Because we want to get to know you. Why? We want you to complete the course. God, I just answered about 15 of them this morning. Just saying, hey, hi, boy, this was a great week. This is what my best bit was. And let me tell you about a little cool thing that happened. I love getting those emails. That's what gets me out of bed at 5 in the morning. Looking forward to those. So if you want to stop believing in God and hoping and doubting and praying you don't get cursed, and you want to start believing as God in the power of your imaginal-act, if you want more love and beauty in your world, join us. And right now, do something lovely. Imagine something lovely that implies something lovely in your life. Imagine sending us your updates. Why not? As we go into the silence. You know, when you stop believing in God and you start believing as God, not only does your life get a lot more lovely, but so do you become so much more radiant. You ever notice in all these old cultures, they equate God to sunshine, God to light, God to love. And you are the spark behind the eyes. You are the sunshine that shines on everything. The truth about you sets you free. Thank you for listening to today's Neville Goddard podcast. Tune in tomorrow for tomorrow's quote as well. Have a lovely day and join us in Manifesting Mastery Course.com. See ya.